إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد. So this morning بإذن الله تعالى أيها الإخوة الأخوات continue with this blessed dawrah بإذن الله تعالى, and we reached the chapter relating to حقيقة الإيمان ودخول الأعمال فيه وأنه يزيد وينقص, the reality of al-Iman. Naam, and that actions are included within Iman, and that Iman yazid wa yanqus, that it increases and decreases. So what I'll do, inshallah ta'ala, quickly, we'll just read the chapter, and then inshallah ta'ala we'll discuss some of these masail that have come in the chapter. Let me see a book, Talib. Naam. So Imam Sufyan al-Thawri, rahimahullah ta'ala, he said, وَالْإِيمَانُ قَوْلٌ وَعَمَلٌ وَنِيَّةٌ وَيَزِيدُ وَيَنْقُصُ يزيد بالطاعة وينقص بالمعصية ولا يجوز القول إلا بالعمل ولا يجوز القول والعمل إلا بالنية ولا يجوز القول والعمل والنية إلا بموافقة السنة. فقلت له يا أبا عبد الله وما موافقة السنة؟ قال تقدمة الشيخين أبي بكر وعمر رضي الله عنهما. He said Iman consists of speech, action, and intention. It increases and decreases. It increases with obedience and decreases with sin. It is not permissible to speak except with action. It is not permissible to speak and act except with intention. It is not permissible to speak, act, or intend except if they agree with the Sunnah. Shu'aib, he said, I asked him, O Abu Abdullah, what is the agreement with the Sunnah? He said, giving precedence to the two Sheikhs, Abu Bakr and Umar, radiyallahu anhuma. Imam Sufyan ibn Uyayna, rahimahullah ta'ala, he said, the Sunnah consists of 10 matters. Whoever possesses them have completed the Sunnah, and whoever neglects any of them has neglected the Sunnah. And he mentioned among them, Iman is speech and action. Imam al-Humaydi, he said that Iman consists of speech and action. It increases and decreases. There's no benefit from speech unless it is accompanied by action, nor in speech and action except with intention, and neither in speech, action, or intention except if they are in accordance with the Sunnah. He also said, I heard Sufyan, rahimahullah ta'ala, say, it is speech and action, meaning regarding Iman. It increases and decreases. His brother Ibrahim ibn Uyayna, he said to him, O Abu Muhammad, do not say it decreases. So Sufyan became angry and he said, be quiet, boy. Rather, it decreases until nothing remains of it. And in the belief of Abu Thawr, Ibrahim ibn Khalid, that a man from Khurasan sent him a letter asking about Iman. What is it? Does it increase and decrease? Is it speech or speech and action? Or is it speech, affirmation, and action? He replied, it is affirmation in the heart, acknowledgement by the tongue, and action of the limbs. Imam Ahmad rahimahullah ta'ala said, Iman is speech and action. It increases and decreases, as mentioned in the narration. The most complete of the believers in faith are those with the best character. Whoever abandons the prayer has disbelieved, and there is no action whose abandonment is disbelief except for the prayer. Whoever abandons it is a disbeliever, and Allah has permitted his killing. Imam Ali ibn Madini, he said, Iman is speech and action according to the Sunnah. Correctness and intention. Iman increases and decreases, and the most complete of the believers in faith are those with the best character. Abandoning prayer is disbelief, and there is no action whose abandonment is disbelief except for prayer. Whoever abandons it is a disbeliever, and it's permissible to kill him. Imam Bukhari, rahimahullah ta'ala, he said, religion is speech and action, as stated by Allah. Naam, and then he mentions the ayah, وَمَا أُمِرُوا إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ مُخْلِصِينَ لَهُ الدِّينَ حُنَفَاءَ وَيُقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَيُؤْتُوا الزَّكَاةَ وَذَلِكَ دِينُ الْقَيِّمَةِ. And they were not commanded except to worship Allah, being sincere to Him in religion, inclining to truth, and to establish the prayer and give the zakat, and that is the correct religion. It was said to Suhayl al-Tustari, when does a man know that he is on the Sunnah and the Jama'ah? He said when he recognizes 10 qualities within himself. And he mentioned among them, he does not doubt in Iman, nor does he argue about the religion. Imam Ibn Abi Hatim, he said in the Creed of Raziyain, Iman is speech and action. It increases and decreases. They also said, people are considered believers in their rulings and inheritance, but we do not know what their status is with Allah. Whoever says, I am a true believer, is an innovator. Whoever says, I am a true believer, is an innovator. We're going to deal with this mas'ala, inshallah ta'ala. And whoever says that he's a believer in the sight of Allah is from the liars. And whoever says, I'm a believer in Allah truly is correct. Imam al-Tabari, rahimahullah ta'ala, said, the correct view, according to us, is that Iman is speech and action, and it increases and decreases. This is supported by the narration reported from a group of the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and upon this are the people of religion and virtue. And lastly, Imam Ibn Abi Dawood, he says in his Ha'iyya, وَلَا تَكُ مُرْجِيًا لَعُوبًا بِدِينِهِ أَلَا إِنَّمَا الْمُرْجِيُّ بِالدِّينِ يَمْزَحُ وَقُلْ إِنَّمَا الْإِيمَانُ قَوْلٌ وَنِيَّةٌ وَفِعْلٌ عَلَى قَوْلِ النَّبِيِّ مُصَرَّحُ. And do not be a murji who plays games with his religion. Surely the murji is playing games with the religion. And say Iman consists of statements and intentions and actions according to the explicit statement of the Prophet, and it decreases sometimes due to disobedience, and sometimes because of obedience it grows, and on the scale it will outweigh other things. So this is the bab regarding the haqiqatul iman, the reality of iman, and the actions are included within iman. So after reading this text, ayyuhal ikhwa wal akhawat, in this mabhath, this section, it relates to the belief of Ahl-Sunnah wal Jama'ah regarding Iman. And perhaps we'll break this section down into several points. Number one is the definition of Iman with Ahl-Sunnah. Number two, that Iman increases and decreases. Number three, we'll discuss those who went astray as it relates to the correct definition of Iman. Number four, we'll discuss the danger of opposing the belief of Ahl-Sunnah wal Jama'ah concerning Iman. And number five, we'll discuss the ruling of making al-istithna. Making al-istithna as it relates to Iman. So these are the five matters we'll speak about as it relates to this mabhath, this section, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala. So, number one, the definition of Iman. After reading this section, ikhwan, we see as it relates to the definition of Iman that there are different definitions that have come from the Salaf. And in reality, they all lead to what is proven by the Qur'an and the Sunnah, and what the Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala anhum understood of this matter of Iman. So some of the Salaf mentioned in general that Iman is qawlun wa amal. They said qawlun wa amal. And of course, they meant by this, as we'll hear, they meant by qawl, qawl al-lisan wa qawl al-qalb. Statement of the tongue and statement of the heart, which is that belief, the i'tiqad. We'll hear that inshallah ta'ala. Other ulama, they mention it in detail, so it won't be any ambiguity. So they said what? Qawl, amal, and i'tiqad. Naam. They said qawl, amal, i'tiqad. Statement, action, and belief. And this is why Sheikh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah ta'ala, ya akhwan, akhawat, who is thoroughly versed in the madhab of the Salaf, in the creed and the aqeed of the Salaf, he came later and he said, وَمِنْ أُصُولِ أَهْلِ السُّنَّةِ وَالْجَمَاعَةِ أَنَّ الدِّينَ وَالْإِيمَانَ قَوْلٌ وَعَمَلٌ قَوْلُ الْقَلْبِ وَاللِّسَانِ وَعَمَلُ الْقَلْبِ وَاللِّسَانِ وَالْجَوَارِحِ. He said, and you find this in Aqidat al-Wasitiyya, a book that you are all familiar with. He said, and from the fundamentals of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah is that the religion and Iman is statement and action, statement of the tongue, statement of the heart and tongue, and action of the heart, tongue, and limbs. So what does this mean, ya ikhwan? Naam. قول القلب هو الاعتقاد. So when the Salaf, they said قول القلب, statement of the heart, this is the belief system. This is the اعتقاد. كاعتقاد ما أخبر الله به عن نفسه وأسمائه وصفاته وأفعاله وملائكته وكتبه ورسله, such as belief in what Allah informed of concerning Himself and concerning His names and attributes and His actions, and that which relates to belief in His malaika, His angels, and in His books and His messengers. As for qawl al-lisan, statement of the tongue, هو التكلم بالشهادتين. This is utterance of the two testimonies of faith. This is utterance of the two testimonies of faith. القيام بذكره سبحانه وتعالى, saying statements of dhikr. وتبليغ أوامره, conveying His commands and calling to His religion and defending it and the like. This is statement of the tongue. So we have two types of qawls. They're what? Qawl al-qalb, which is what? The belief system. Qawl al-lisan is what? The utterance of the shahadatain, dhikr, and so on and so forth, calling to the religion of Allah. And then we have amal al-qalb, وهو نيته. We have action of the heart, and this is the intention present within the heart. And ikhlasu, the sincerity which is held within the heart. And there's matters such as a tawakkul, placing reliance upon Allah, al-inaba, turning to Him in repentance, al-mahabba, love, al-inqiyat, submission, khawf, fear of Allah, raja, all these are actions of the heart. Ikhlasu ad-dini lahu, sincerely making the religion solely for Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sabr, patience, and other actions of the heart. And then you have amal al-lisan wal-jawarih, actions of the tongue and limbs. Kas-salat, action of the limbs and the tongue, such as the salat, the prayer, hajj, al-jihad, and that which is similar to these matters. Naam. And upon this, ikhwan, is ijma' of the Sahaba. And upon this definition of Iman, that is qawl, amal, and i'tiqad. Upon this is the ijma' of the Sahaba and the Tabi'een and those who followed them. Naam. ومن أنكر نعم عفوا وأنكر السلف على من أخرج الأعمال من الإيمان إنكارا شديدا. And the Salaf, they severely rebuked those who removed actions from Iman. The Salaf, they severely rebuked those who removed actions from Iman. And actions are from Iman, ikhwan, as we see in many narrations. We just mention one quickly, inshallah ta'ala. It comes in the Sahihain, Bukhari and Muslim. عن ابن عباس رضي الله عنهما عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم that the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم he said to Wafd Abdul Qais, the delegation of Abdul Qais, who came to the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, that delegation, he said, آمركم بأربع, I command you with four things. الإيمان بالله وحده, to have Iman in Allah alone. وهل تدرون ما الإيمان? Do you all know what Iman is? Do you all know what Iman in Allah is? وهل تدرون ما الإيمان بالله? Do you all know what Iman in Allah is? The Prophet ﷺ went to explain. شهادة أن لا إله إلا الله وإقام الصلاة وإيتاء الزكاة وصوم رمضان وأن تؤدوا الخمس من المغنم. He said, to testify that none has the right to be worshipped in truth except Allah, to establish the prayer, to give the zakat, to fast Ramadan, and that you pay the 1/5 of the war booty. Now, Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah ta'ala says, فيه أن الإيمان بالله هو مجموع هذه الخصال. In this is a proof that Iman in Allah is the sum of all of these matters. And from that is what? Statement and action. Look at the hadith. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, Iman billah is what? Shahadat and la ilaha illallah. That's a what? Huh? That's a statement. Naam. And likewise is a belief. Naam. Iqam as-salah, that's what? Action. Giving the zakat is a what? Sawm Ramadan is what? So, and that you give the 1/5 of the war booty, that's what? All those are actions. So look, this is a delete. The Prophet ﷺ clearly explained al-Iman, that it is statement, action, and i'tiqad. And there's other adillah. And this was the Sahaba they understood. And this is الذي تمشى عليه سلف هذه الأمة. Now, and for this reason, Sheikh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah, he said in مجموع الفتاوى, والمقصود هنا أن من قال من السلف الإيمان قول وعمل أراد قول القلب واللسان وعمل القلب والجوارح، ومن أراد الاعتقاد رأى أن لفظ القول لا يفهم منه إلا القول الظاهر أو خاف ذلك فزاد الاعتقاد بالقلب. You have this in the footnotes here in the book, the translated book. Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, Sheikh al-Islam, he said what is intended here is that when some of the Salaf said Iman is statement and action, they meant the statement of the heart and tongue, and the action of the heart and limbs. But those who desired to add i'tiqad, belief, they did this as they saw the possibility that the only thing that will be understood from qawl is what? Just a statement, right? And not the belief, right? It's the statement of the tongue. Or they feared this. So the Salaf, they added belief in the heart, al-i'tiqad bil-qalb. All right, what about those who added was-sunnah to was-sunnah or واتباع sunnah? What about those who added this, as we heard in some of those statements of the Salaf? Ibn Taymiyyah, he said, rahimahullah, وَمَنْ زَادَ اتباع السنة فَلِأَنَّ ذَلِكَ لَا يَكُونُ محبوبا لله إلا باتباع السنة. As for those who added following the sunnah, this is because none of these matters will be beloved to Allah except with following the sunnah. None of these matters will be beloved to Allah, right? A person's statement, a person's actions, and other than that, except if they are in accordance to the sunnah. Also, we see that some of the Salaf, they added what? One niyyah, an intention. Regarding the Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah, he relates the statement of Suhayl ibn Abdullah Tustari when he was asked about Iman, and he said, قَوْلٌ وَعَمْلٌ وَنِيَّةٌ وَالسُّنَّةٌ. It is statement, action, intention, and sunnah. Because if it is just Iman with statement but without action, this is kufr. We're going to hear about this soon. If it's just Iman with statement but without action, then this is kufr, this is disbelief. And if it is statement and action without intention, it is nifaq. It's hypocrisy. And if it is statement, action, and intention without sunnah, then it is bid'ah. It is bid'ah. The next matter, number 2, ikhwan, al-iman yazid wa yanqus. That iman increases and decreases. So just as we heard earlier, the definition of iman according to Ahl Sunnah which is the correct definition. قول وعمل واعتقاد, statement, action, and belief. These are the components of Iman for one's Iman to be correct. As-Sunnah, they also believe, we also believe, As-Sunnah wal Jama'ah, that Iman increases and decreases. Yazid wa yanqus. That Iman increases and decreases. Also, one was to ponder over the Qur'an. Most, if not all, the ayat that speak about the fluctuation of Iman, it only speaks about Iman what? Increasing. It only speaks about Iman increasing. If we look at the ayat in the book of Allah. And this is why Sheikh al-Islam, he said, as we see, you have in the footnotes there in the book, he said, وَبَعْضُ الْفُقَهَاء مِنْ أَتْبَاعِ التَّابِعِينَ, and some of the fuqaha from the أتباع التابعين, they did not agree with describing Iman with an-nuqsan, decreasing. Because in the Qur'an, they found the word increase, but not decrease. And then if we look at the statement of Humaydi that we read, when Humaydi, what was his name? Who remembers? Abdullah ibn Zubair al-Makki, na'am. When Humaydi, he said, and I heard Sufyan, he's talking about Sufyan man. Huh? Thawri? Humaydi? He means Thawri? Uyayna. Sufyan ibn Uyayna. All right? He said, I heard Sufyan say, statement, action, and it increases and decreases. So his brother Ibrahim ibn Uyayna, meaning the brother of Sufyan, he said, Oh Abu Muhammad, لا تقل ينقص. Don't say that Iman decreases. Sufyan became angry. He said, Uskud ya sabi. Be quiet, young boy. Rather, it decreases until nothing from it remains. Nah, Mr. Aqib Ahl-Sunnah wal Jama'ah. So what Sufyan said is haqq. And when we look, we will find that the Salaf, ikhwan, they use the same verses about Iman increasing to prove that it also decreases. Imam al-Bukhari, in his Sahih, he brought the ayat that only prove that Iman increases. But listen to his chapter heading. He said, Bab ziyadatul iman wa nuqsanihi. Chapter regarding the increase and decrease of Iman. But if you look at that chapter, Imam Bukhari, he only mentioned the ayat that mentions that Iman increases. So that means that Imam Bukhari understood what? That these ayat that show that Iman increase, it also proves that what? Iman decreases. And this is what Imam Bukhari understood. And we know that the fiqh of Imam Bukhari is where? And it's tabwibat. Now, it's chapter headings. Hafiz ibn Hajar, he says in explanation of this, ثم شرع المصنف من البخاري يستدل لذلك بآيات من القرآن مصرحة بالزيادة وبثبوتها يثبت المقابل فإن كل قابل للزيادة قابل للنقصان ضرورة. Hafiz ibn Hajar, he says, the author began to prove this with evidence from the Qur'an, that explicitly mentioned the increase of Iman. And with that being established, that Iman increases, then so is the opposite. For whatever is able to increase, it is also able to decrease by necessity. From those verses, ikhwan, quickly, we just mentioned two that prove that Iman increases and decreases. الذين قال لهم الناس إن الناس قد جمعوا لكم فاخشوهم فزادهم إيمانا وقالوا حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل. نعم. Those believers into whom those people, meaning the hypocrites, said, verily, the disbelievers have gathered a great army against you, so fear them. But it only increased them in faith and Iman, and they said, حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل. Another ayah, statement of Allah Azza wa Jal, إنما المؤمنون الذين إذا ذكر الله وجلت قلوبهم وإذا تليت عليهم آياته زادتهم إيمانا وعلى ربهم يتوكلون. The believers are only those who, when Allah is mentioned, they feel fear in their hearts. And when His verses are recited upon them, زادتهم إيمانا, they increase their faith. Now, likewise, you have the statement of Allah, وَزِدْنَاهُمْ هُدًى, Surah Al-Kahf. Naam. And we increase them in guidance. Some of the study they use this verse, likewise, to prove the fluctuation of Iman. So there's some of those ayats. Number 3. Those who oppose Ahl-Sunnah as it relates to the reality of Iman. Those who oppose Ahl-Sunnah as it relates to the Haqiqatul Iman. And this is important. You heard the Imam Sheikh Hassan Somali Hafidhullah Ta'ala. He touched on this briefly right at the Salat al-Fajr. So we'll discuss this inshallah ta'ala. So know, Hafidhukum Allah, Allah bless you all, that there are groups who went astray as it relates to the Haqiqatul Iman, the reality of Iman. It's possible to categorize these groups into 2 categories. The first group is a group that they do include actions to be from Iman, right? They say that Iman is qawl, amal, i'tiqad, like Ahl Sunnah. However, they see that Iman is kullun wahidun la yatajazza. They believe that Iman is one whole, inseparable entity, right? Not being able to be broken up, meaning not being able to fluctuate. So according to them, if part of a person's Iman leaves, then what? All of it leaves. The whole of it leaves. And this is not the Aqidah of Ahl-Sunnah wal Jama'ah. All right? This group is represented by the Khawarij, the Mu'tazila. All right? So we're going to look at these groups who went astray regarding Iman. All right? So this group is represented by the Khawarij and the Mu'tazila. Right? They believe that Iman is qawl, amal, i'tiqad, but they believe that is kullun wahid, is one whole, inseparable entity. If some of the Iman leaves, all of it leaves. And that qawl is batil. This is the qawl of the Khawarij and the Mu'tazila. So therefore, one commits a major sin, and we know that sins affect the Iman. They say that Iman leaves that person in totality. Now, because with them, that Iman is one whole inseparable entity. It doesn't increase, decrease, as us Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah believe. And for this reason, they say that the one who commits a major sin becomes a disbeliever and is in the hellfire forever. Wa'iyadhan billah. This is the qawl of the Khawarij and Mu'tazila. The Khawarij say that this person, and who commits a major sin, their Iman leaves and they are a disbeliever, they are kafir in this life. And the Mu'tazila, they say that the person is in a manzila bayna manzilatayn, is in a station between 2 stations. In this dunya, not a believer or not a disbeliever, but both the Khawarij and the Mu'tazila, they say that this person in the akhirah is in the hellfire forever. And this qawl is batil. And it has very evil consequences that we'll speak about, inshallah ta'ala. So that statement is a bid'ah. It's not the aqeedah of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. Why is this? Because the text of the book and the Sunnah that point to the fact that Iman is broken up into branches and fluctuates, that Iman increases and decreases, the texts are plentiful. Al-Iman bid'un wa sab'una shu'bah. أعلاها قول لا إله إلا الله وأدناها إماتة الأذى عن الطريق والحياة شعبة من الإيمان. Iman is 70 some odd branches. The highest is saying La ilaha illallah. The lowest is removing something harmful from the road. Shyness is a branch of faith. Now, showing that Iman, yatajazza. That Iman is of levels. Comes in another hadith The Prophet ﷺ said, "Man ra'a minkum munkara," whoever sees from you evil, let him change it with his hand. To the end of the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said, وَذَلِكَ أَضْعَفُ الْإِيمَانِ وَذَلِكَ أَضْعَفُ الْإِيمَانِ, and that is the lowest of faith. Let him hate it in his heart. فَبِقَلْبِهِ وَذَلِكَ أَضْعَفُ الْإِيمَانِ. That is what? The lowest of faith. That is the lowest of Iman. Comes in another hadith. It will be said, يوم القيامة, أخرج من النار من كان في قلبي مثقال ذرة من الإيمان. Go remove from the hellfire the one who has what? A mustard seed of Iman. Iman يتفاضل. It fluctuates. So the qawl of the Khawarij and the Mu'tazila, as it relates to this, ikhwan, is a bid'ah. And it's batil. And it opposes what is found in the Kitab and the Sunnah with the Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala anhum, they agreed upon. The second group are those who remove actions from the sphere of Iman. It's the second group, second category. Those who remove actions from the sphere of Iman, meaning what? They say for one's Iman to be correct and complete, it only needs mere belief in the heart. It only needs mere belief in the heart. Or it only needs statement of the tongue, or it only needs statement of the tongue and attestation of the heart. So according to them, one does not need to do any actions for the Iman to be complete. In this category of statements falls under the umbrella term of those who have the belief of what? Irja. Those who have the belief of irja. Naam. All right, so look at the two different sides, ikhwan. And we know Ahl Sunnah, we're the wasit in all affairs. We're the wasit bain al-ummah, we're the wasit bain al-firq. The middle course. The Khawarij, they went to one extreme, and the Murji'ah, they're going to another extreme regarding Iman. All right? Regarding Iman, the Khawarij, they went to one extreme, the Mu'tazila, and the Murji'ah, they went to another extreme. Ahl Sunnah, where are we? Balanced. Why are we balanced? Because we're here to what? Kitab, Sunnah, Fahm, Salaf, Salih. Not going outside of that. Now, leaving off innovations. Leaving off that which is newly introduced and innovated. This second category, ikhwan, the Murji'ah, in summary, there are three types. Number one, those who say that Iman is merely in the heart. Those who say that Iman is merely in the heart. Meaning what? To acknowledge in the heart that Allah exists, Allah is the creator. This is Iman with some of the Murji'ah. And some of those who adopt this first opinion, some of them include actions of the heart. They are most of the Murji'ah. And there are others who do not include any action of the heart whatsoever for Iman to be correct, such as Jahab ibn Safwan, the innovator, and his followers. Meaning if one holds belief in Allah in their heart, this is sufficient for them to be a complete believer. Wa'iyadhan billah. The second group, those who say that Iman is merely statement upon the tongue. Meaning if you pronounce Iman upon the tongue, khalas, you're a complete believer. Likewise, that's batil. Even if you don't hold it within the heart. All right? That's a despicable and wicked statement likewise. And then third, those who say that it is a attestation of the heart and statement of the tongue, but without actions. And all of these aqwal are batila, they're false, and they're rejected. And the furthest from the truth is the first statement. Meaning those who say that Iman is merely knowledge of the heart, or ma'rifat al-qalb. Because this statement would necessitate that who? Iblis, Fir'aun, the chiefs of disbelief and misguidance, this would necessitate that they all have complete Iman, because they all have awareness of Allah Azza wa Jal. They all have awareness of Allah Azza wa Jal. Iblis said what? قَالَ فَبِعِزَّتِكَ لَغْوِيَنَّهُمْ أَجْمَعِينَ. Naam. Fir'aun likewise. He had ma'rif of Allah Azza wa Jal. What kept him from believing was his arrogance. Naam. And likewise, the chiefs of kufr and disbelief, they have ma'rif of Allah Azza wa Jal. So if one was to say that Iman, complete Iman, was just to have ma'rif of Allah, this would by default include Iblis, Fir'aun, and the chiefs of disbelief. Who would ever say that they're believers, complete believers? That's insane to say something like that. Naam. So following this in falsehood is the second statement adopted by the Karramiyah. They say that Iman is only statement upon the tongue. Likewise, that's rejected. Because the Munafiqun, they pronounced statement Iman upon the tongue, and they didn't believe in their heart. إذا جاءك المنافقون قالوا نشهد إنك لرسول الله والله يعلم إنك لرسوله. Naam, to the end of those verses. The Munafiqun, they come to, they say, we testify that you're the messenger of Allah. Right? So, the Munafiqun, they express Iman upon the tongue, but they don't hold in the heart. Naam. And the lesser of the three in falsehood is the last statement, those who say that Iman is attestation of the heart and statement of the tongue. But at any rate, all of these statements, ikhwan wa akhawat, are in opposition to the truth that is come in the Qur'an and Sunnah, and what was related by the Salaf of this ummah, as it relates to Iman, and that Iman includes aqwal wa a'mal wa i'tiqadat, statements, beliefs, and actions. And this is why Ibn Abi Dawood, he stated in his Ha'iyah, وَلَا تَكُ مُرْجِيًا لَعُوبًا بِدِينِهِ أَلَا إِنَّمَا الْمُرْجِيُّ بِالدِّينِ يَمْزَحُ وقل إنما الإيمان قول ونية وفعل على قول النبي مصرح وينقص طورا بالمعاصي وتارة بطاعته ينمي وفي الوزن يرجح. Now, the Murji refuting the Murji'ah and their beliefs. They're only playing with the religion with these ta'rifat and their definitions of Iman. There's only belief in the heart. There's only ma'rifah. There's only statement upon the tongue. You're playing with the deen. That's what Ibn Abi Dawud is saying. With these statements, you're doing nothing but playing with the deen. Naam. It's a joke. So, number 4, we want to speak about the dangers of deviating as it relates to the reality of Iman. The person may say, all right, naam, so alhamdulillah, we see the belief of Ahl-Sunnah wal Jama'ah, that Iman is qawl wa amal wa i'tiqad, yazidu wa yanqus. And we see these other definitions, right? Alhamdulillah, we're going to be on what Ahl-Sunnah wal Jama'ah are upon, right? And we're going to take this as our belief with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Well, the person may say, well, what's the dangers of these other beliefs? We're going to mention some of them. Now, Sheikh al-Badr, he says, also it should be known in conclusion of mentioning this abridgment of what the groups say about the definition of Iman, in conclusion of mentioning this abridgment of what the different groups say about the definition of Iman, then it should be known that erring concerning the reality of Iman is not like erring concerning some random innovated title. Nor is it like erring concerning other names similar to it. And this is because there are rulings in this life and in the next that revolve around the reality of Iman, Islam, al-Kufr, and al-Nifaq. They're rulings. They revolve around these titles, ikhwan. There's rulings in this life and in the next that revolve around these titles. Iman, Islam, al-Kufr, al-Nifaq. So therefore, this emphasizes the obligation of understanding Iman correctly. With that understanding being derived from the book and the Sunnah, without falling short, like the Murji'ah, not going overboard like who? The Khawarij and the Mu'tazila. He said, I previously established that there is nothing correct as it relates to this proper definition, except the statement of Ahl-Sunnah wal Jama'ah, wa billahi tawfiq. Now, and this is correct, ikhwan. And I'll give some examples. I just give some quick examples, inshallah ta'ala. So if one were to hold that Iman was one entity, right? That Iman was one entity, and to the point that it was affected by a major sin, the whole of one's Iman leaves them, then this will lead to mass takfir and bloodshed in the Muslim societies. as occurred at the hands of the Khawarij. This has occurred. This is not something that, it may happen or it's happened. And due to that, their erroneous belief. Right? Because the nature of people, they fall short. Right? People fall into sins. People fall into... In the time of the Messenger sallallahu did people have ma'asi? No. People fell into sins, fell short. When the Prophet sallallahu he flogged some people. He established the had the rajam upon some people. Did they become kuffar? La. They didn't become kuffar. The nature of people, they have shortcomings, ikhwan. People yudhnibun. So with that understanding of the Khawarij, what will occur? Mass takfir upon the people. All of you are kuffar. And if you're kuffar, all of you have to be killed. You're apostated from Islam. Wa'iyadhan billah. You see the dangers of this, ikhwan? This is the dangers of leaving the belief of Ahl-Sunnah wal Jama'ah. Spilling and shedding the blood of the Muslimin, destabilizing the societies of Islam. This is the reason, ikhwan, of from the reasons is deviating from the belief of Ahl-Sunnah wal Jama'ah. Now, so in essence, ikhwan, we see from this that having the belief, as contrary to what some people they say, having the belief of the Salaf, it results in what? Eminent stability. And having the belief of Ahl Bid'ah, it results in what? Instability and insecurity and chaos and so on and so forth. Now, so again, that's just one example. So look how the Muslim societies can be thrown into chaos due to not holding the correct aqeedah. Also, give another example of the dangers of deviating as it relates to the correct understanding of Iman. The one who says that Iman is simply ma'rifah, or knowledge and awareness of Allah, then again, this would include the disbelievers, rather than chiefs from among them. Iblis, Fir'aun, they both had awareness of Allah, as we said. So upon that understanding and that definition, right, they will be mu'minun. And thus the aqeedah of al-wala wal-bara, it will go out the door. Khalas. You have to have allegiance to everybody. You have to have wala to everybody. The aqeedah of wala wal-bara go out the door. It won't be wala to Ahl Islam wal Iman and bara from the who would you have bara from at that point? If it was just ma'rifah. Most of the creation they're gonna acknowledge Allah Azza wa Jal. Most of the creation. That's why we know that the Anbiya, they didn't come with Tawheed al-Rububiyyah. They came with the Tawheed of what? Uluhiyyah. Naam. They came with the Tawheed of Uluhiyyah. So the Aqeedah of Wala wal Bara will go out the door. One would have allegiance to almost anyone. Because they would say they have ma'rifah, they have awareness of Allah in their hearts. They're people of Iman. Let's have allegiance to them. Another example, the issue of nikah. If one held this belief, right, one can simply say, what is such and such? He has awareness of Allah, so he's a believer. Thus I can marry him to my daughter or my sister or my mother or so on and so forth. And that's a belief which is facet. One last example before we take our third point, our fifth point, excuse me. Another example of the dangers of deviating regarding the haqiqat al-iman. If one adopted the third of an innovative opinion, that iman was merely attestation in the heart and belief in the tongue, right? Attestation in the heart and belief in the tongue, but without actions being necessary, and that those two matters, attestation in the heart and belief upon the tongue, those matters alone renders a person's iman complete, and actions have no effect upon iman whatsoever, then people, they would do all types of evil and munkarat, and they'll abandon obligatory actions, and then when you admonish them, they'll simply say what? Huh? Iman's in my heart. That's it. That's the Iman's in my heart. I don't have to cover, I don't have to go to my bed, I don't have to pray. Iman is in my heart upon my tongue. I don't have to do anything else. Right? A person I don't have to give zakat. I don't have to do anything. Because what is truly upon that qawl, what is truly considered is what is in the heart, not actions, right? You can, as they say, you can ball till you fall, right? You can do whatever you want. Whatever you want to do from munkarats and sins and disobedience, Iman is in my heart and on my tongue. Actions had nothing to do with my Iman. So don't judge me upon that. And again, that's a qawl from the Murji'ah. Qawl is batil. Because Ahl-Sunnah, we know that actions is what? It's a part of Iman. Actions is a part of, and the ulama, they refuted this erroneous understanding. Sheikh al-Bani, rahimahullah ta'ala, has some nice kalam regarding that. Naam, he has some nice kalam regarding that when he discusses the hadith, which is in Sahih Muslim, that inna Allah la yanzur, Allah doesn't look at your shapes and your colors or the like of that, but He looks at your hearts and your actions. وَلَكِنْ يَنظُرْ إِلَى قُلُوبِكُمْ وَأَعْمَالِكُمْ. Sheikh al-Bani says that hadith is not correct except, he said, because in some narrations it says except Allah, He only looks at your heart. Sheikh al-Bani said, la. He said this narration is not correct except with the ziyada, but Allah looks at your hearts and your actions. Naam, he says, so some people, they try to use that hadith to make the argument that the only thing that is considered with Allah is the hearts, and that's incorrect. It's the hearts and likewise the actions. Naam. All right, lastly, before we end, number 5, the ruling on making al-istithna regarding one's Iman. The ruling on making al-istithna regarding one's Iman. This matter, brothers and sisters, it needs something of detail and that we give careful attention to it. The matter of al-istithna regarding Iman, meaning what? Must one say that Ana mu'minun insha'Allah, I'm a believer if Allah wills, or arju bi anni mu'min, I hope that I'm a believer, and other than that from the statements of istithna regarding Iman. So first and foremost, how is this matter connected to the mabhath of, or the discussion of Iman? Number one, ikhwan, we must understand that when Iman is mentioned mutlaqan, unrestrictedly, then it includes being upon everything that Allah commanded and staying away from everything that He forbade. This is when Iman, a person says, when Iman is mentioned al itlaq, the scholars, they say that it entails being upon everything that Allah commanded and staying away from everything that He forbade. So the one who believes that Iman increases and decreases, and that the people of Iman vary in their levels of Iman, is us, Ahl-Sunnah wal Jama'ah, they saw that one should make an exception when stating that they are a mu'min. And this is only from the aspect of not testifying for themselves that they have this level of complete, this high level of complete Iman. So what's important here, ikhwan, in this introduction, that we see that this istithna, this exception, it relates to the janib al-amal. It relates to the part of Iman entailing action, not belief. Keep that in mind. And we'll continue and we'll hear some more detail about this. The istithna, it relates to the janib al-amal, the part of Iman that entails action. And that's why Sheikh al-Islami says, right? And you have this in your book, ikhwan. He says, complete Iman, al-Iman al-Mutlaq, this entails performing everything which Allah commanded His servant with and abandoning everything He forbade. Thus, if one says, Ana mu'min, I am a mu'min, then from this aspect, he's testified for himself as being from the pious, doing everything that Allah commanded and leaving off everything that Allah prohibited, thus declaring himself to be from the awliya of Allah, the allies of Allah. And this is a tazkiyah for himself, for which he has no knowledge. Furthermore, if this tazkiyah was true, then he will be able, by default, to testify for himself that he's from the people of paradise, if he dies upon that. And no one can testify for themselves that they're from the people of Jannah. So most of the Salaf who will make this istithna is from this aspect, right? It's from the aspect of when it comes to this matter of mutlaq al-iman, and mutlaq al-iman, it entails doing everything that Allah commanded us to do from actions and staying away from everything that Allah has forbade themselves from. So if a person testified that they have that type of iman, what do they do for themselves? They gave tazkiyah to themselves. Ahsant. Naam. And if they gave a tazkiyah to themselves regarding that, that means they're from the awliya of Allah, and if they die upon that, they're from Jannah. That's what they're saying. So the Salaf from this bab, from this aspect, then they would make istithna, right? They would say, ana mu'min insha'Allah. So keep that in mind, ikhwan. So meaning, from the aspect of not testifying for oneself, that your iman is complete as far as fi'l ma'mur wa tark al-mahdhur, doing everything that Allah requests from you and staying away from everything that Allah prohibited you from. Because no doubt a person doesn't know their station with Allah, and a person does not know what their ending will be with Allah Azza wa Jal. So we can't make that type of guarantee, right? That type of jazm. And Allah mentions in the Qur'an, وَالَّذِينَ يُؤْتُونَ مَا آتَوْا وَقُلُوبُهُمْ وَجِلَةٌ أَنَّهُمْ إِلَىٰ رَبِّهِمْ رَاجِعُونَ. And those who give what they give in charity, but their hearts are still full of fear, that it won't even be accepted from them. Nah, this is from the attributes of the believers. Nah, they don't make them for themselves those type of guarantees. يَخَافُونَ. Nah, يَرْجُونَ وَيَخَافُونَ. يَرْجُونَ وَيَخَافُونَ. So therefore, this matter of istithna, ya ikhwan, is not regarding what a person holds of i'tiqad. So keep this in mind. It's not what a person holds from the asl of their belief and their chest. And we'll get to that later. But even before this, ikhwan, the question itself, mu'minun ant, are you a believer? This question is innovated. It's from the murji'ah. Mu'minun ant, are you a believer? This is an innovated question. It came from the murji'ah. Don't get this confused, ikhwan, with the statement, Ain Allah. This is legislated. Prophet somebody asked this to the jariyah. We don't mean that. Because some people may get that confused, what we're saying. La. Prophet somebody asked the jariyah, Ain Allah? She said, Fi sama. She said, he said, who am I? She said, he said, A'tiqa ba'inna mu'mina. This question is permissible. We're talking about the question, mu'minun anta. Are you a believer? That's something different. This question itself is muhdath. It's innovated. And it comes from the murji'ah. Sheikh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah, he says, وقد كان أحمد وغيره من السلف ما هذا يكرهون السؤال الرجل لغيري أمؤمن أنت ويكرهون الجواب لأن هذه بدعة أحدثها المرجئة ليحتجوا بها لقولهم. Ahmad and others from the Salaf, along with this, meaning along with them making this istithna, they dislike that a man asks another man, are you a believer? And they dislike the answer because it is an innovation brought about by the murji'ah in order to support their innovated statement. Just be patient, a couple more minutes, ikhwan. We're almost finished, inshallah. No people tired, right? Early in the morning at the fajr. Meaning what, ikhwan? So the murji'ah, we already learned that the murji'ah, they believe that action is not part of Iman, right? We learned this. The murji'ah, they believe that action is not part of Iman. Right? Thus, with them, if a person just has ma'rifah, or qawl al-ma'rifah, then they're a mu'min, kamal al-iman, according to them. So the fasiq and the muti', they're all the same. Right? The fasiq goes on the same level of Abu Bakr and Umar, as they claim. Wa'iyadhan billah. The fasiq goes on the same level as Jibreel and Mikael. So according to them, the fasiq's iman is complete. So what they intend by asking this question, the murji'ah, They want to catch a person out, right? They want to trick a person. They want to trap you. So they ask you, are you a believer? And the person of Sunnah, when he says, and I'm mu'minun inshallah, I'm a believer inshallah, they say, look, you have shak. This is what they say. They say, look, you have doubt. Because what they want you to say is, I'm a believer, right? Without saying inshallah, they want you to just say, I'm a believer. And then use the statement against you by saying, look, you and us, we have the same belief. Right? All the Muslims are believers with complete Iman. This is what they want behind it. This is what the Murji'ah, they want behind it. They want you to say, I'm a believer. And they say, look, we have the same belief. All the Muslims, they're believers. Meaning, all the Muslims, they're believers with complete Iman. This is what they want. Because remember, Ikhwan, as we said earlier, when Iman is mentioned unrestrictedly, it entails what? Everything that Allah commanded, performing everything that Allah commanded, and staying away from what? Everything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala prohibited. Right? So, they believe complete Iman, which benefits with Allah Azza wa Jal, is just by way of statement and belief. And whoever has these two components, then their Iman is the highest of Iman that could be achieved. Right? And Ahl Sunnah, we say la. We say la. And for this reason, Imam al-Ajuri, he stated, he said, احذر رحمكم الله قول من يقول إن إيمانه كإيمان جبرائيل وميكائيل ومن يقول أنا مؤمن عند الله وأنا مستكمل الإيمان هذا كله مذهب أهل الإرجاء. Look what Imam al-Ajuri, he said, Muhammad al-Hussein. He said, beware, may Allah have mercy upon you. The statement of those who say that his Iman is like the Iman of Jibreel and Mikael. Or those who say, certainly I am a believer with Allah, or I've completed my Iman. They're making tazkiyah for themselves, for that which they have no ilm. Right? The Murji'ah with this statement, they're making tazkiyah for themselves for that which they have no ilm. Ahl Sunnah, we don't do that. We heard the ayah, وَالَّذِينَ يُؤْتُونَ مَا آتَوْا وَقُلُوبٌ وَجِلَةٌ أَنَّهُمْ إِلَىٰ رَبِّهِمْ رَاجِعُونَ. Ahl Sunnah, we don't make that type of guarantees. We don't know the ghaib. But rather we hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts from us. As for the Murji'ah, then they what? Imam Ajuri, he's refuting them. Beware of those individuals who say that their Iman is like Jibreel and Mikael. Look at these guarantees, these huge guarantees they're making for themselves. Big guarantees. Their Iman is like Jibreel and Mikael, the Malaika. Or they're saying, I'm a believer with Allah. Or they say, I have completed my Iman. He said, all of these are from the methodology of the people of Irja. So what they want, Ikhwan, they want to catch the people of Sunnah out. They want to trap you with that statement. So the asl of that statement is a bid'ah. So again, Ahl Sunnah, when they made the istithna, the exception, saying, Insha'Allah, it was regarding the janib of what? Actions, amal. Not testifying that we're complete in Iman in terms of actions. Because again, if this were the case, then this is a tazkiyah. And if one dies upon that level of Iman, then no doubt they would be from the people of paradise. So although the Salaf, they didn't like that question from the start. Because they knew what the Murji'ah they intended, which was to say that their Iman was complete. As according to them, actions, they have no connection to one's Iman. Ibrahim al-Nakha'i, he said, a man asking another man, a mu'minun ant, is a bid'ah. And also a man asked him, are you a mu'min? He responded, ma ashukku fi imani wa su'alika iyaya an hadha bid'ah. He said, I do not have any doubt about my Iman, and this questioning of yours is an innovation. And this questioning of yours is an innovation. A similar narration from Imam Ahmad, who said, I heard Sufyan ibn Uyayna say, if he was asked, are you a mu'min? He said, if he wished, he wouldn't even respond. Or he would say, your questioning of me is a bid'ah, but I don't have any doubt about my Iman. Naam. Furthermore, Ikhwan, if one says, I'm a believer, insha'Allah, right? If they make this istithna, if they say I'm a believer inshallah, then this istithna, it doesn't denote doubt or shak. It doesn't, just by saying inshallah, because this is what they're saying. They're saying if you say inshallah, the murji is saying this denotes shak, doubt. But we find in the Qur'an and the Sunnah, this istithna being used for that which is certain. And look at the fiqh of Ahl Ilm, the Salaf. We find in the Qur'an and Sunnah this istithna being used to denote certainty. Give me the ayah. Where's Ahl Qur'an? Ibrahim, fadlal. Who else? Memorize the Qur'an. لا يعني لا الذي يدل على أن قول إن شاء الله قد يفيد اليقين. لقد صدق الله رسوله الرؤيا بالحق لتدخلن المسجد الحرام إن شاء الله آمنين. This is a verse, ikhwan. So look, Surah Al-Fath. Naam. Indeed, Allah shall fulfill the true vision which He showed His messenger, that you will enter Masjid al-Haram, insha'Allah. But this was muhaqqaq. That Allah causing His messenger and the companions to enter Masjid al-Haram, this was already established. It was no doubt regarding that. But even with that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, insha'Allahu aminin. But this was no shak about that. They were going to enter Masjid al-Haram. There was no shak. So look at Ahl Ilm, ya ikhwan. Look at the istinbat of Ahl Ilm. Right? They brought this ayah showing that insha'Allah, it doesn't automatically denote doubt, shak. Likewise, we have in the Sunnah. We have in the Sunnah hadith. And we just took this in Ahkam al-Janaiz. The Prophet ﷺ, he would say, and he would instruct the Muslims to say when he would go past the maqabir, what's the dua? La. He would say that, but that doesn't have the Naam, هذا هو. That's for the maqabir of the kuffar. Abshiru bin nar. Naam. Assalamu alaikum ahl diyar. من المؤمنين والمسلمين وإنا إن شاء الله بكم للاحقون. Is death certain or uncertain? It's certain. It's certain. وإنا إن شاء الله بكم للاحقون. So look, the Salaf, they said, and Ahl Ilm, they said inshallah, it doesn't automatically denote shak. As the Murji'ah, they tried to say. So these are two adillah. The ayah from Surah Al-Fath, and likewise this hadith. So it doesn't denote shak. If a person says, "Ana mu'min insha'Allah." So, that's a refutation against the murji'ah from that bab. So quickly, ikhwan. Naam. So the khulasat al-mas'ala, to sum up this matter in closing. It is permissible to make istithna regarding Iman. Many of the Salaf, they did it. But what they intended was making istithna from the absolute Iman, which comprises of everything that Allah loves and is pleased with, meaning from that matter of actions, that comprises everything that Allah is pleased with, including the inward and outward actions, which Allah accepts, meaning the Iman al-mutaqabbal. Because who can guarantee that Allah has accepted their actions and that they have done everything that He commanded and stayed away from everything that He prohibited? So those from the Salaf who did not make al-istithna and did not say, I'm a believer inshallah, what they intended was the inward Iman, which is the basis of the belief in its foundation, meaning belief in Allah, belief in His books, belief in His angels, His messengers, the qadr, the last day. They didn't make istithna with this. They said, I'm a mu'min. When it came to that, the asl of Iman, belief in Allah and His angels and His book, they said, Ana mu'min. They didn't have any shak. Or they didn't make istithna. It's better to say they didn't make istithna. They were resolute regarding these matters, and they did not make istithna in those matters. They did not say, inshallah, pertaining to those matters. Naam. And that's why some of Ahl Ilm, they say that if a person is asked this question, and we already learned that the question in itself is disliked, but one should ask for clarity. What do you mean by Iman? If someone says, Amu'minun ant, they say you should tastafsil. What do you mean by Iman? Is it the complete Iman which is accepted by Allah, in which whoever comes with it, no doubt they will be from the people of paradise? In this case, one says what? Inshallah. One says inshallah, or one says arju. Some of the stuff they would say, La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. They will make istithna as it relates to that. Naam. But if they intend the Iman al-Muqayyad, meaning the basis of Iman, the fundamentals of faith, belief in Allah, belief in His Messenger, belief in the book, so on and so forth, they would say what? Ana mu'min. I am a believer. Ikhwan, this matter is tawil al-dhayl. It has many statements from the people of knowledge. I hope that which has been presented, it gives us clarity as it relates to this matter of Iman, its haqiqah's definition, with Ahl-Sunnah, those who oppose it from the Khawarij, the Mu'tazila, and the Murji'ah, right? The harms of going outside of the ta'rif of Ahl-Sunnah regarding Iman, and what is intended by al-istithna. I hope we brought some clarity regarding that. Sallallahu alaihi wa sallam wa barik ala nabi Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Jazakumullah khair.